Greetings this week. I want you to imagine for a minute that you've got a crowd of 100 people in a bar. It's a sports bar. And everyone there is a fan of some sport or another. Not an uncommon occurrence here in the US. And then some game comes on, and one team, of course, is going to prevail over another. Very few sports in America have ties like you have in soccer. And it just so happened that day that a majority of the people in that bar are the fans of the winning team. In fact, there are 78 of them. And that means that there are, only, 22 fans of the other team. I think it would be safe to say that those 78 people comprise a majority. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, I'm using this as an example of how if you look at something in a neutral light, it's easier to see it. It becomes clearer when you divorce it from the political agenda that others may impose upon it or use to obscure it. And the reason I chose 78 is that is the percentage in America of people that are self-identified as Christian. Yes, there are going to be people who say that, they're not real Christians. Well, this is what they call themselves. And if someone calls themselves something, I'm going to go with it. It doesn't matter to me whether other people who use the same title agree with what they say. If someone says, I'm a Christian, okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm not going to, quiz you on biblical inerrancy or anything. I'm just going to say, if that's what you want to call yourself, that's what you are. But oddly, in America, that 78% majority continues endlessly to act as though it is some harrowed, persecuted minority, even when they aren't. Earlier this week, Fred Clark over on the Slacktivist did a nice little essay talking about the continual Christian persecution persecution complex. That's hard to say. I wouldn't want to use that as a tongue twister. And he discusses his further thoughts about why do people do this? Why do people who are in the majority, the hegemony of American religious and in many ways political life, continue to want to be viewed as the minority? Because it gives them that righteous fury. It makes them seem more virtuous if they are, the cornered minority fighting for their freedom, except they aren't. They're the oppressive majority trying to impose their worldview on everyone around them, which is much less virtuous and a lot harder to get behind as some kind of this is the fight that we're, the right fight kind of thing that we all need to get behind. Now, I think another thing is that they're afraid of indifference. If all religions in America are treated equally under the law, which is what they're supposed to be, that means that they are all treated equally in the public sphere, that they will be all viewed neutrally. And to some people, being viewed in a neutral light is losing. Their privilege somehow falls, and they view themselves as less prominent, less important. And that has a whole lot more to say about them than it does to say about the Constitution or religious neutrality. To me, that seems to involve a whole lot of ego, which isn't helpful in faith in my book. Now, my faith is mine, and I could give a crap what anybody thinks about it. I'll debate it if someone's pleasant, I'll ignore if someone is unpleasant, and if they get really unpleasant, I'll just block them from my comment section. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. But that's it. My faith is mine. What you think about it doesn't matter to me. And what I think about your faith shouldn't matter to you. No, I'm not going to come after you. I'm not going to say, you're wrong! No, I'm not going to do that. I will comment if you attempt to treat the world around you as your personal bailiwick. As if the world doesn't bend to your whims, somehow that's persecution. It isn't. So Just be happy with who you are. Have your faith. Now, Fred Clark also made a really interesting comment recently. He said there are only really 2 Christian commandments. Just 2, not 10. And those 2 commandments are ones that are pretty simple to follow. Love God. Love your neighbor. Now you do those 2 things. You follow that path. And I'm pretty sure your persecution complex and your desire to impose your view on others is just going to melt away. Just like snow in the sun. I like the sun sometimes. It's so refreshing.